Good morning. We're out on the patio with the kitty. I've been doing a lot of work the last couple months. I still have things to put away, but I have moved some of my plants around. Went over to the thrift store and got some plates here to put under these pots so I could bring them inside. Some of these Norfolk Island pines from one of my neighbors for after Christmas. I said I'd keep them alive. And I've hung up some lights. I drilled some holes in this pot to hang up, but I don't know what to put in it. And the big surprise is this whole new side of the house. Look at that. I've been working hard. I just haven't filmed it. Decided to put in pine bark over here instead of rock. And mostly due to budgetary reasons, but because I didn't want so much rock. Yeah, so I've been watching some of the Jim Putnam plant tube, and he has the Southern Living collection. Yeah, anyway, I've been looking for shade plants for this corner, and I found quite a few that I didn't know about from living up north. And I love this vine. And these are my old Norfolk pines I got 2 years ago, and I've been keeping them alive. They were just little babies. I have a little bit of burn on this one, or I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So I think it got a little too hot. I had it out front where the sun's pretty bright, so I brought it back here. I got a wisteria, but it is a compact one that is not supposed to, it's not supposed to spread, and it's not supposed to take over, right? But it is growing like crazy. Like, it was just a little bush a couple weeks ago. I bought this trellis that has now been completely taken over. I thought maybe I'll get two more trelli and put them in. And I can spread it out over that space. I probably, I wanted to get a bigger one, but I thought, oh, that's so much money. And so I got that for now, thinking I could deal with it next year, but it looks like I'm dealing with it next week. And then here we've got a little bit of a drainage thing going on. A neighbor gave me this hose thing. I don't know. And then I put my zinnia seeds, and I think there might have been a Cosmo mixed in. But I hand dug this whole thing, and it was a really good stress relief. And then I went out with my tax refund, and I got this plant. It's a banana magnolia, and it had little Laffy Taffy smelling flowers. I got that out at Pinelands. And then these are all from kind of different places around Milton. And this is a gardenia. This is going to grow, this red bush is going to grow real big and be a kind of an anchor corner thing. And then the rest of this stuff is just kind of set to grow in either, the amount of shade or the amount of sun that we get. And then, oh, I'm showing off where I haven't cleaned. Look at, yeah, I had a lavender I can't keep alive. We dug up one of our sprinkler heads, and I started cleaning, and I hosed off the porch, and I stuck everything out here. So these are my secrets. And apparently I can keep a rosemary alive if I ignore it. I did have some volunteer clovers come in here, and I've managed to keep possibly one of my plant lavender's alive. I bought this tree. It's called like a red anise tree. And I had it sitting on this corner, but our eaves have decided that this is where they're going to pour off in a steady stream if it rains hard, and it would destroy the plant. So I need a new home for this baby. We also just fertilize and thatch the lawn, so I don't have anything sitting out on the lawn. I got a couple of new plants in here. I think this red one is going to grow tall, so it'll kind of pop up behind there. My Monstera, I split in 3. I have 3 of those now. It had been growing in the ground, and then I brought it in before the last frost. This turmeric, I think it is. It has those tall, pretty flowers. It literally just popped about 2 weeks ago, and it's already coming back. And then this is a wild ginger that just popped. Those were dormant under the ground for the winter. I moved this leopard plant over here to the shade. I had these up north and I really liked them. This lily I had over on the other side and it was small. I moved it here and it's doing really well. My, I don't know, these are like a black elephant ear or whatever, and they're actually bigger than I've ever seen them. This is their 3rd year. And then my big cookie monster, he's still happy. Lots of little critters living in there. I don't want to touch it. And it's all thorny. And just leave it. It's like a Muppet. This guy almost died. I left it out in the cold. And it went down all the way to a little tiny thing, and now it's coming back. And this is where it likes to be, on this hook outside. My ginger that I was going to split, I got busy, and now it's huge. So, yeah. My neighbor gave me these cannas, and these are going to get really tall. These are my corner plant. So they're going to be really tall up here. And then I have other cannas that have been flowering and spreading over here. Doing really well. They were just like 2 little sprigs I put in last year. This jasmine, I kind of had fun with this. I moved this trellis and then I got a little Dollar Tree light and some hooks, and I just hung that there for decor. The Mexican petunias are up almost to my waist. Yeah. I got the Aldi blueberries for $5.99. There were 2 of them. So there's one. And the other one's over here. He's getting hidden. And then I bought one of the Southern Living, I don't know, another variety of blueberry. And I've already eaten quite a few of those. And then here are more cannas that I didn't know were going to get this big. I moved those over here last year, at the end of the year, and they were like the size of my hand. I didn't know they were going to grow that big. Here's my avocado tree that I've grown from the pit. And while I know it might not produce, but I cut the top off from it so that the trunk would get thicker, and I left a few leaves so that it would still collect nutrients from the sun. And now I guess I have to just keep nipping these tops off. It's an experiment. This guy died back from the snow, so I just let him grow. It's actually grown a lot better since spring. And then this one's gonna get big. This one's gotten a lot bigger. But the real surprise, I thought I killed this one, and now it's back to the size it was when I bought it last year. It has 4 leaves, just like when I bought it. And it is bigger. I mean, these leaves are the size of my leg. This is my leg, okay? This is the size of my leg. And spider plant, I've just been, I've been putting a little extra care into this one, and I divided it up. So that is what we've got going on here. I really wish I had a better camera, but here we are with my phone. We bought one more bush to put in the middle here because we had something die off, and then we put some pine bark down, and I have a few zinnias. I started those from seed and transplanted them, and I think they're a little slow, and honestly I also think there's a Cosmo in there, but here, they're growing, they're alive. And then over here we've got a couple plants, azalea and maybe a gardenia that didn't flower, and then this other plant here that we put in. And so yeah, it's looking really nice out here. But we've also got the food garden. I've got tomatillos, squirrel, and a tomato. I can't remember what tomato this is. It was one of my seedlings, and I've actually grown the tomatillos from seed. I grew the tomatoes from seed, the carrots, obviously, all of these peppers. They're still not very big. I don't know why. Grew those all from seed. My peas, I think, are getting burnt, but I've had quite a few harvests out of that already. And it's just starting to get really hot here. I've got a Thai basil, and the cilantro that I let go to seed that was from last year, I'm just letting the seeds dry out so I can make coriander with them. And I've got a volunteer marigold from last year that was growing. It's growing off the side, and now it's growing there, and it's good to keep the pests away. The tomatillo here is doing well. I've got some diatomaceous earth on these. That's what the white is. My zucchini or summer squash, it just died. It flat out just died. I don't know. It dried up and went away. So it doesn't like it here. But I am going to have a ton of tomatillos. I need to stake these up better. But this was like a kind of experimental little space where grass wasn't growing. I was too tired to really dig it up and do it right. And eventually we'll do the whole fence with something good, but I just threw a few bags of garden soil in here and tilled it up by hand because I ran out of room. Over here, I still have my dill and oregano, which I thought were going to die out and this whole thing would become strawberries. But it didn't, and it's huge, so I just keep chopping it back when it flowers, and then it keeps flowering. I put some marigolds in here last week, but it's kind of hot out. And I've got a ton of strawberries in here. And I've been picking them. I've been picking them for weeks. And it seems like the more that I pick them, the more I get. And we have a variety that I planted last year over here. And I've got diatomaceous earth. That's what the white is. And then this is the first variety. I think I kind of like the ones from this corner better than the ones from this corner. But they're both the type of strawberries that just keep flowering and making strawberries all year. Now here are those cucumbers I bought from the Dollar Tree and planted in my closet. And I've harvested probably 8, I think, cucumbers already. And I've got another one here. Actually, I think I've got one I've got to pick today. I got a couple more that started. And yeah, we got a couple here. Uh, this vine, I don't know if it's just slow, but this one over on this side is huge. And these two summer squash like this flower bed, so I think, we're fine. I've got asparagus beans growing, and I'm expecting that by the time they get big, I'm going to stake them up in the middle, that these cucumbers will have already died off. And then I did buy an eggplant because it's going to get hot out, and again, this will get tall by the time this other stuff dies back. Yeah, so the tomatillos, we've got them in like 2 different beds. And if I need to cover these because of bugs, I may do that. I also fertilized with an organic fertilizer and then covered it up with a little bit of this garden soil, organic garden soil. And I try to keep it organic by doing diatomaceous earth, which I've done here, and planting companion plants. And when that doesn't work, occasionally I have sprayed some neem oil, or I try to put nets. And then I did have one other spray at my disposal just in case, because food to me sometimes might be more important than 100% organic. I try to balance those out. Oh, now we got people working. But I think that's the whole thing. We've still got a lot of work to do here, and I'd like to get a better camera so I can do better videos. I wish the videos were better quality. I also have an interest in vintage reselling and graphic design, and that's why I'm so picky about how things look. But, and interior design a little bit too. And those are all interests of mine. But yeah, this is, for me, probably the biggest learning curve I've had in several years, moving to Florida from Minnesota and learning how to grow things here. And I love all the plants. Makes me so happy. And I come out here every morning with my coffee and walk around and smile.